Hey everybody, video here for you today. Now I'm working on a longer video. I hope to have that up by the end of the weekend. Coming from this area of the world, I want to thank Antonio Zamora for providing me with some good articles to read. It's always nice when other researchers can help you out with your videos. Send a message, you get a reply right back. It's always appreciated. Scott Walters, another one I want to thank for providing me some info so I don't go searching for something that isn't worth talking about. That's always nice. We're going down to Mexico today. This is a Mayan site that not many people have heard about, but there has been some work done here. We're actually going to hear from somebody who did some work down here. I've kind of memorized where this place is. It's right down here. The coastline has changed a lot. You can only get to this place by boat. It's right down here. Pretty inhospitable area to do research in, I guess. But we'll listen to somebody who's done work on the island here. You can see little things popping up here. This is a pyramid just sticking out of the jungle here, right here. I will leave the link to this below. This is HakkaiMagazine.com. I will also leave a link to their YouTube channel, Coastal Science and Societies, but it has a good article here. It says the Maya culture is often associated with farming and extraordinary inland cities full of fascinating architecture. New research, however, shows that the people were also sophisticated mariners. And I have talked about just northeast of here, coast of Florida, there are pyramid cities built on some coastal islands. Here's one in the Yucatan. On the island here, there's a couple places where you can see different colors here, structures peering out from beneath the jungle canopy. Here are the remains of one of the structures here on the island. This is only about 40 feet tall, not that big compared to other pyramids, but this is a very flat area on the coast. Probably not very conducive to building tall structures, that is for sure, but it's good that there is some archaeological work being done here so people know about it. I thought this was a great article, and I'm trying to be thorough here. When you learn a lot about a certain culture, certain things become evident. New ideas are presented. Here is the area where this research took place. You notice here it's barely perceptible, or you wouldn't even notice that there are ruins out here. Let me just read. It says Vista Alegre, a ruin of a town near the northern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, was once a bustling outpost. Dozens of canoes crowded the harbor, loaded down with dyes from the west, jade from the south, and obsidian from the mountains hundreds of kilometers away. Here it says, "O part of the ancient Maya world, which stretched from here all the way into modern El Salvador, Vista Alegre lacks the grandeur of many sites. It doesn't have the dozens of glistening pyramids that lure millions of tourists to Chichen Itza, the enticing carvings of Palenque, or the vibrant murals of Bonpac. In fact, if it not for a single pyramid in the middle of a handful of crumbling structures, you might miss its human past altogether." Now, I think it's important when you're looking into a culture, figure out where they were traveling to also, not just what they were doing in their own cities, who they were trading with. That just makes sense. Talks about a Jeffrey Glover who did some of the research here and provided some of the looks. It says he sees the town as it once was, even describing it in present tense. There are a lot of people there that need stuff and that want stuff, and they're probably getting gold from as far south as Panama and Costa Rica, with turquoise that's coming from the American Southwest. So he seems to think they were trading with people who are living up in current day United States. Here is Jeffrey Glover and a colleague mapping out the site here. It says, it turns out that Vista Alegre was just one of a dozen small settlements that rim the Yucatan Peninsula at about 40-kilometer intervals. The distance a team of paddlers can move a goods-laden boat in a day. None of the coastal communities had the grandeur of bigger Maya cities, but when put together, they paint a vivid picture of commerce in the region. So, pretty important site here. Gives us a different view, a different aspect of the Mayans here. They traveled the waters. Since the coast has changed down here a lot over 15 centuries, some of the archaeological work has to be done underwater. Parts of this are submerged, I guess, today. They talk about head shaping here. It says, take the common ancient practice of head shaping, whereas people in Calakmul, near the border of modern-day Guatemala, had a myriad of head shapes fashioned from birth. Those on the coast kept it simple, just a slightly elongated head, and rather than elaborate jade or obsidian inlaid teeth, coastal people tended to just sharpen them down a little. I will leave a link for this article below. They are getting drone footage here to see if they can find anything out in this little bay underwater. Now I'm going to play about a 6-minute clip from this video. It comes from Recording Archaeology. They make their videos shareable. So if you like something from their channel, you want to put something on yours, they don't mind if you reshare, which is always cool. But here, Jessica Moss talks about research done at the island here. Always nice when you can get a first-hand perspective. I will leave a link to the full video below and also a link to Recording Archaeology's channel. I have watched them for a long time, but here is a Jessica Moss who did research on the island here. Not many people know about it. Glad to share this on my channel.
My primary goals are to reconstruct Vista Alegre during the era of its most use, and of course, obviously, what we have the most archaeological data for. I am a personal huge fan of public education. That is a big goal for me. I found archaeology a little later in my life, and I was very frustrated by the amount of information that was available to the general public. So I wanted to make all of my projects have something to do with educating the public, getting it out there to the public. So I come from that background of philosophy. So let's see. Again, this is the group, the Proyecto Costa Escondida. It started in around 2006 with Dominique Rizzolo and Jeffrey Glover, who are both here, to look at the change through time between these two coastal sites that were used primarily for trade, the associated sites of Vista Alegre and Conil, which are about 7 kilometers from each other, to look at how trade on the coast worked with the Maya. So here's the site. As you can tell, it's very remote. Vista Alegre is that bit that, let's see, I wonder if I don't want to break it again, but yes, this bit that looks like a thumb right here. And you can only reach it right now by boat, so it's really fun to get to. I absolutely love this site. So yeah, there is Cancun, there's Vista Alegre. And as you can tell, it is a mangrove forest. During the wet season, it is essentially a swamp, and there's Dominique Rizzolo looking very happy. But all of this area, these are all the wetlands. So it's densely tree covered, so I can't really do a lot with drone photography. There's a lot to get through, and it's very, very dense tree coverage. The site itself is in a very raw state. Several of the structures, we've located about 33 structures over the past, I think since 2009. And a lot of them have been damaged by the frequent hurricanes that hit in this area, by looting. So the condition of the site is obviously not ideal, very raw, so reconstruction is a challenge, and I do love a challenge. Let's see, so yes, this is the recent work that's been done. These are the structures that have been located. This is the main pyramid. It's about 11 meters tall in this area, and this is the square. We did a transect and a couple of field seasons, and then it went into the buildings as a part of this operation. And this is the digital elevation model for that in GIS, just so you can see the difference. It's a very flat area, aside from that pyramid. So again, some of the challenges for doing a VR reconstruction. I'm very ambitious about this project. I want to try to show as much detail in as much time period as possible, because virtual reality obviously offers the ability to not just show a snapshot in time, but to be able to show continuous occupation, to show change through time, which is something that I think is one of the strong suits of it. So Vista Alegre has been occupied through all of this, and most of the earlier stuff, we don't really have a lot of archaeological evidence as far as what the buildings would have looked like. Some of it may have actually been, torn down and used as fill for subsequent construction phases. But we do have a lot of data for primarily this area or era. Another one of the challenges is there's been extreme geomorphologic change in this area. As you can see, this is an outline of the modern coast. So this is that sort of brown area that you saw before, which has the texture of tofu. It's a very strange, we call it the dead zone. So that was not there. This is during the Middle Preclassic, so 800 to 400 BCE, essentially. So it was much larger, as you can tell. That is, again, what it looks like now. So there's been a lot of change, and this is also something that I feel like I can show in virtual reality as well, that we can actually see, you know, how the coastline has changed, what extra land could be there. So we've done a lot of coastal ecology research, and it has, again, changed drastically. We've got a mix of animals and plants, and we actually have a lot of the details about this, and I would love to realistically reconstruct as much of this data as I can, as accurately as I can for the time periods. Since we have it, we might as well use it. Let's see. So yeah, like I was saying before, the site condition is less than ideal. A lot of the buildings and structures look like this. This is the state that they're in. We found some cool stuff that's just been like laying there, but obviously, you know, it's been damaged. And we have done some aerial photography or aerial scans above the island itself, but it was more for a survey. It wasn't high resolution enough that it's anything that I could use for 3D modeling. But it does give me a good, you know, terrain analysis, but it's mangrove forest, so it's very densely covered. And finally, it is a remote location. So one of the things that we want to do as one of the end deliverables of this project is we're in talks to do a museum with the indigenous community of Chiquila, which is about right here. It's where we set off from when we actually go visit Vista Alegre. So it's this like fishing community. A lot of tourists come there because Holbox, which is a popular vacation spot and getting more and more popular as time goes by, is across the bay, and the only way to get over there is also by boat or ferry. So what I'm also very ambitious about is I'm collecting a lot of different asset types. Not only am I using photogrammetry to do individual artifacts, I'm looking at excavation units. We've actually done some photogrammetric work for the excavation units, and I would love to be able to drop that into a model of the existent site. In addition to actually showing where some of the artifacts came from in context. So this is a incensario head of we call it a gopher jaguar, but it's probably a jaguar. It just has cute little gopher teeth.
That is a video coming from the Yucatan here. Small little island today. The coast was a lot different 1,500 years ago. The Mayans were traveling using the waterways all around this region. They didn't care about what borders would be like centuries down the line. I think that connects the Mayans with this whole area, or it could. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have. Very nice.